and now and then.
In the Beatles movie, A Hard Day's Night from 1964, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr made their on-screen debuts. The movie capitalized on their increasing notoriety and achieved both critical and commercial triumphs. Despite some awkward moments during the process, band had fun too while filming the movie. The scene that Lennon found difficult to record and observe was presented. When the Beatles started filming A Hard Day's Night, they had no prior acting experience. However, they happily embraced their duties. Filming got underway at Marylebone Station in March. According to McCartney in the Beatles Anthology, it was a great day out. Sequence in which all of the fans rush to the train station and the train departs, abandoning the fans so that we could continue with the remaining filming. We had all the scenes prepared, and the train transported us there and back. Lennon took longer to get into the filming than McCartney, who said it was exciting to begin. He claimed that the Lennon remarked, "The train bit embarrasses us now. We know that we are dead aware of every motion we make, and that we are constantly observing one another, even though it may not be apparent to those watching in the theater." Paul knows that I'm humiliated when I see him talk. He clarified that they were all so anxious that they were unable to deliver their lines without bursting into laughter. The tense moments are typically depicted in photographs. For example, the conclusion is created one day, and the beginning is completed the following day. However, we completed it nearly in order, he added. We were all really anxious when performing the train scene, which was our first performance. We were practically going to pieces for the entire train bit. Lennon initially felt anxious and ashamed throughout the filming, but he eventually warmed up to it. Starr claimed that he and Lennon were more interested in acting than the other two band members. He remarked, "I think that because I loved movies, I was less embarrassed to be in one than the others. John really got into the movie too. I frequently thought George didn't want to be there. He was acting in that way because we were acting in that way." Harrison countered that this was untrue. Even though he disliked the early wake-up calls, he had fun performing. "I loved it. I don't know what he's talking about," he said. "Get up at 5 in the morning." Harrison's happiness was increased when he met Pattie Boyd, who would later become his wife on set. Help was the second movie that the Beatles released, 1 year after A Hard Day's Night. Praised than their debut film, critics were largely pleased with it. Third movie, the same could not be stated. The group released Yellow Submarine in 1968. The band had minimal involvement in the movie, despite their appearance on screen at the very end. The animation versions of them were voiced by actors. And starting this year, director Sam Mendes, known for the films 1917 and Skyfall, will be working on 4 new films about the Beatles. Each film will get a different perspective from John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George, and Ringo Starr. So get ready to hear the points of their story from their respective perspectives. Even more fun, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and the families of John Lennon and George Harrison have received full blessing and support to make these films. "I'm truly honored to be able to tell the story of the greatest rock band of all time, and can't wait to bring the Beatles to the cinema," said Mendes. These films will discuss the story of the Beatles before they disbanded in 1970. It will definitely be exciting and full of drama.